Welcome to the second part in the Alternative Information series on Zionism. I'm Tanya Kepler, and joining us again is Michael Warschawski, longtime anti-Zionist, Israeli activist, and co-founder of the Alternative Information Center. Thanks for joining us again. So today we would like to talk about what are some alternatives to Zionism?
Zionism was, in fact, an answer endorsed by a tiny minority among the Jews of Europe and almost none in the Arab world. I would say that the great majority of the Jewish population in Eastern and Central Europe were divided between religious people who considered that the solution of the Jewish question will be through God's intervention and through the coming of the Messiah that will put an end to the sufferings of the Jewish people whenever God will decide times has come. This on the one hand. On the other hand, you had assimilation, that with time, with modernization, the Jews will assimilate among the nations where they are living and become equal citizens and not suffer any more anti-Zionism. The assimilation conception itself was divided into two. The bourgeois conception of the assimilation, that through the bourgeois democratic state and the development of the concept of citizenship, Jews will be citizens, and maximum they will keep a faith, a Jewish faith, but there will be equal German citizens, French citizens, British citizens, and the socialist answer, especially supported by the whole socialist movement, but especially by the huge, massive Jewish socialist movement, the Bund, for whom fighting for socialism was the way to fight anti-Semitism. And only in a socialist society, only in a society where there will be no exploitation and no exploiters who had basic interest in developing anti-Semitic sentiments among the poorest parts of the society, only through a socialist revolution, the Jews will be equal and will not suffer any more anti-Semitism. So Zionism is only one answer, and that remained very marginal, in fact, until a very important date, until Hitler came to power. And when Hitler came to power, a project which we may call a kind of hippie project of very small communities of people trying to develop agriculture somewhere in the Middle East with collective farms, suddenly this marginal phenomenon, and I would say utopian phenomenon, enter into modernity. The coming to power of the Nazis in Germany, in Austria, in Czechoslovakia, brought here for the first time capital, know-how, modernity. And from a hippie project, what I call a hippie project, Zionism became a modern project with the material means to assess something which could fit the 20th century. This is the time of the development of the Hebrew University, of the Jewish industry in Palestine, of the Judaization of the main state or British institutions and big factories like the refineries, like the harbors, like the railroad. Zionism entered modernity, and the project started to got some kind of rationality. After the war, the fact that hundreds of thousands of displaced survivors were going all around Europe, and no one wanted them, neither in Europe, hardly in the United States, gave the human material for the project and the international endorsement of the project. In a sense, the leaders of Europe were saying, you know what, take a few dollars and go to your country. You have a country somewhere there solving the Jewish question that was a European phenomenon, solving the issue of anti-Semitism, which was under full responsibility of Christian Europe at the expense of the Arabs of Palestine that had nothing to do with this 1,500 years of anti-Jewish racism.
Thank you very much, Michel.
You're welcome.
If you're interested in reading more, Michel blogs in English and in Hebrew on the Alternative Information's website, alternativenews.org. Thank you very much for tuning in to our 4-part series on Zionism.